Good afternoon to all of you. So, where we have stopped yesterday, determinants of ethics. Huh? I think we have done some portion. क्या portion हुआ? Family we have done. Education, peer group, religion, mass media. Okay. Okay, leaders, this part, okay, I'll explain what requires to be done here. A sort of an assignment for you. What you have to do here, you have to identify two leaders from different walks of life, like two civil servants who inspires you. Okay, you can have any two civil servants in the past, present, from administrative part. Okay, so who have inspired you. So you have to find out which are the qualities of those civil servants which have inspired you, and how it has affected your personal life depending upon those qualities. Say, for example, can you tell one example where? Okay, Ashok Khemka, Vinod Rai. Okay, so Ashok Khemka, then you can write like courage, okay, or speaking against the wrongdoings, whistleblowing. Pradeep Shukla, okay, huh. There are various names. Okay, say for example, Vinod Rai again. See, Vinod Rai, person who was holding the CAG, that is a Controller and Auditor General as an independent body. So there also, where you see different values, different qualities of Vinod Rai. Then we have Sanju Chaturvedi, we have TN Session, okay, TN Session who has redefined the Election Commission of India. Raghuram Rajan also you can take, who has redefined the role of RBI governor in a new direction. Okay, so you can pick up various this civil servants. There is a E. Sridharan also. E. Sridharan, who was E. Sridharan? Yes, Metro. So discipline, dedication, okay, or punctuality, efficiency. See, केवल नाम लिखने और उसका history, what he has done is not important. From what he has done, which qualities, which values emerge, okay, out of what he has done, and then write that how the qualities of a particular person or civil servant or bureaucrat has helped you in shaping your life. Okay, so that's the first thing that you have to do, like identify two civil servants, then identify two social reformers. Two social reformer here again, you should again think of some few people from the past also you can pick up, like 18th century. Rajaram Mohan Rai, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Ambedkar, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule. Okay, so pick up one or two. Again, you have to find out what are those values. Say, for example, they have worked against the gender equality. So, gender equality as a value that inspire you. Social reformers have focused on education. Okay, and not only the this instrumental value, but as a intrinsic value of education. Then we have they have worked against the caste system. So writing caste system is not an inspiration. The value of equality, that is all are equal and there should not be a hierarchy within the caste. So that value of equality has inspired you. So find out the different values or the qualities and tell how these things have inspired your life. Then you can pick up some of the contemporaries people also who are a sort of a social reformers and how they have inspired you, which quality of them. Yes? Kailash Satyarthi, obviously. Kailash Satyarthi on the child labor. Okay, so of course you can discuss. There are various things that he has gone through. He has articulated the child labor and the issues of child labor at international platform. He has not given up when the situation is worst. Okay, Along with that, see, it is not necessary that you should stick to the India. Okay, along with her, you can identify this Malala Yousafzai. Okay, that also can be a person who has inspired you, who has spoken about. Malala Yousafzai पता नहीं है क्या? हाँ, पता है नहीं है. अच्छा पाकिस्तानी है तो नहीं इंस्पायर कर सकते हमें. हाँ, ओके, हाँ हाँ, फाइन. Okay. So that inspired me to take the bullets in my chest. Now I will be going on LOC to take the bullets. ऐसे inspire करेगा. Okay, try and find that out. That is, first of all, girls' education. Second, when the situation is worst or when the circumstances are very difficult, how the courage helps you in raising the voice against injustice. Then again, going on international platform, okay, helping the other kids with respect to the girls' education. So there can be many things you can write. Yes, some other from Anna Hazare, yes, you can write Anna Hazare corruption related cases, or for that matter. Kejriwal is also fine, but no, seriously is fine. There is no doubt about it. But the point is, do not bring some political figure which are in current times, because unnecessarily that will create a problem for an. You never know what the examiner. Now you can see the examiner is a pro Narendra Modi, so you can imagine what will happen to your answer. So do not land yourself into a trouble. Okay, do not pick someone who is a contemporary time or somewhat controversial. You will run the risk. That's the only point. Otherwise, if you see ARC recommendation, which I told you, ARC book on ethics, so there is a mentioning of his NGO Parivartan. Okay, that period of time he was running an NGO Parivartan for the right to information. So, he got a Raman Magsaysay award during that time. So see, he has been a reformer. There is no doubt. But the point is, today in the political scenario, you run the risk, okay, of writing and then unnecessarily creating the or landing into the controversy. Otherwise, when ARC was formed, this was Virappa Moily was heading the committee, and that time they have praised in that ARC the Parivartan a lot, but they were not knowing that Kejriwal is the one who is going to eat most of the Congress votes. Congress would not have, okay, put his name during that time if that was the case. But anyways, yes, certainly. But there are certain values. You can identify some other person who is doing the equal amount of or equal type of job as the Kejriwal did in the past. So for example, Sanju Chaturvedi, you can take up. Okay, he's also a whistleblower. He's also fighting against the system. He's also courageous, disciplined. Okay, most of the salary and the award that he was a Raman Magsaysay award holder. Award he got, he has distributed 90% of the amount again to the for the sake of society. Okay, he has deposited all the money. So this is what we see the public orientation or people's orientation. So that's you can mention. Then this Maluan scavenging, the one who has got the recent award. Okay, Benjwada, Wilson Benjwada. So obviously here the case is not just about he was fighting against the manual scavenging, but fighting against the equality of the status, human rights. Okay, and this is all the more difficult when you hail from such a particular background. And if you see his history, his father and his mother was involved in such activities. So one would have thought that this is a menial job, and therefore at least I will avoid this thing in my life. So his life purpose was that to bring the dignity and to remove the manual scavenging altogether from the society, and to that extent he is working on it. Okay, so identify this, social reformers, and then any other two icons of your life. It may be a political now here in this case, but as I have said that political, at least no current politician should be picked up, because there is always a ongoing controversy some of the other ways. Second thing is, one of the important virtue or one of the important value of civil servant is he should be politically neutral, political neutrality. So in a way, if you are writing Modi, Kejriwal or Rahul Gandhi bhi hai kya koi likhne wale, theek hai? He also inspires women empowerment. Okay, he talks about a lot about it. Okay, so if at all you are writing, then it shows that you are not politically neutral. In fact, you are in a way justifying or political ideology. Okay, so that is not expected out of the civil servant. Civil servant is politically neutral, or there should be impartiality. You can certainly pick up the leaders from the past. Nehru hai, Patel hai. Patel likhoge to aap discipline, okay, all sort of things, efficiency, courage. Nehru likhoge to democratic values, okay, consensus building politics, visionary, statesmanship, this kind of. But again, as I have mentioned, like in contemporary times, Nehru hamara hai, Patel tumhara hai, Gandhi hamara hai, Godse tumhara hai, okay. There is a lot of problem in contemporary time. So better to pick up the international heroes in that regard. You can take Abraham Lincoln, Woodrow Wilson, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, okay, हाँ कौन कौन है डोनाल्ड ट्रंप वाले गॉड सेव यू एंड गॉड सेव ट्रंप ठीक है yes so you can pick up those different personalities. If you want to pick from the female side, Aung San Suu Kyi, okay, who was a symbol of democratic fight against the Myanmar when there was a dictator. Aung San Suu Kyi, who is she? It's Myanmar, Myanmar democratic leaders. Margaret Thatcher के साथ problem ये है, she is like Indira Gandhi. Now, we have been told Indira Gandhi is a great leader. There is no doubt about it. Indira Gandhi was a great leader. But most of the time of her tenure, India was under the emergency. Now, emergency is anything but democratic, okay? Because where we see that the dark side of democracy, wherein there was not respect to the democratic institutions, and the internal democracy, which was the one controversial one, she applied during the time when she not lost the election, but the Allahabad High Court has questioned her candidature. During that time, to save the power, okay, you have applied the national emergency. So there are certain controversial aspects. So by and large, at least paper 4 does not ask us to go ahead with the democratic values. So the one who has certain tendencies to go towards the authoritarian regime, dictatorial regime, so such personalities by and large should be avoided. Okay, in case of Margaret Thatcher also the same thing applies. Okay, and these are iron ladies of world. Okay, iron man जैसे रहता है, iron ladies है ये. तो यहाँ कोई हिटलर भी लिखने वाला है क्या? सोच रहे हैं क्या? अच्छा हिटलर नहीं है, मुसोलिनी सोचोगे. अरे हिटलर और मुसोलिनी में केवल नाम का फर्क है. There's nothing change in ideology. So I want to be a Hitler. Hitler has created atrocities against Jews, which was a minority then. Therefore, I am also thinking of creating the atrocities against my minorities. He has formed German race should be the basis for nationalism. Therefore, I am forming Hindu as a basis of. लिख दो, अच्छे मार्क मिल जाएंगे. Come on, okay. Try and understand this aspect. Anyway, so that's it's up to you. Apart from that, there is no limit on you. You can identify the real person who has really inspired in your life. Any person. It can be your father, mother. It can be any person which through your reading you have inspired in life. Okay, Swami Vivekananda hai. Ya fir any other person who has inspired you. Find out that person. Find out the qualities of that person and then write. Kaun Imran kya? Salman Khan. Which qualities of him inspire him? Inspire you? Huh? Driving. Okay. एक ही है सलमान खान जब वो रात में सही बोलता है ठीक है. When he is in the night, he lost his conscious mind and therefore he writes something. कुछ ट्वीट कर देगा, सुबह उठ के बवाल खड़ा हो जाए. Okay. फवाद खान के ऊपर बोल दिया, हो गया. But I don't think so. That he has made only 2 statements. The first statement is there is a difference in between terrorist and artist. This was the first statement. Second statement was artists come up with the visa permit and the law. These were the mere 2 statements. That's it. Is there any controversial about it really? That the Raj Thackeray has found that He's talking this and that. Uh, doesn't make any sense. Okay. No matter how much patriotic you are, but it does not mean that the artist, you tag them as a terrorist. It's not because it was a Fawad Khan or Mahira Khan. Okay. Any artist. So you think of this simple logic. These are the only people from. Come on. Sunny Leone. सही है यार. हाँ? क्या मतलब आज क्या खा के आए हो, पी के आए हो? हाँ? A simple logic is the people who are coming in India as a part of artist, art, culture, these are the people within the Pakistan who at least feel that there is something good about India. Okay, they think that Indian people are not bad. They feel that Indian government is not bad. So everything they look in India, and they are the messenger of peace. They may go back and tell what we essentially been taught since childhood, that India, that every Pakistani knows that it's like there is a hatred towards India, because that is what has been taught in their schools and through different groups and ideologies, etc. But these are the few ones who are involved in the art and culture, who will at least create a constituencies of peace within the Pakistan with respect to the India, and pressurizing the government of the day that whatever that the anti-India hatred and the policy that is being done by the Pakistan, that's absolutely not correct. Now what you are essentially doing, the most peaceful person within the Pakistan for India, you have just troubled him. Now see, he is going back. Now rest of the people will ask, now you are the one who is saying that India was peaceful. Now tell us who is peaceful and who is not. And therefore they have no reasons to say that the things between India and Pakistan should continue, that peaceful cooperation, whatever is there. And then there is a problem. You know, this Adanis and Ambanis also provides the electricity, okay, power in neighboring countries. There are a number of other things where the business is continued, but nowhere it affects. Only when it is Fawad Khan. Again, for one film, there are thousands of the people who are working. So out of 1,000, one is Fawad, and what about 999? How can you put them to the disadvantage? Okay, if you think logically, you will find the answers. And you cannot you have to fight with the enemy. There is no doubt about it. You need to fight with the enemy, terrorists, surgical operations. That is where you see the coercive policies, diplomacy. But this does not mean that you should sever all the contacts, and that will be very next to impossible to pick up the threads from where we have left. So international diplomacy generally does not work this way. The way the Indians are reacting to the surgical strikes and so on and so forth, there are many other contours of international policy and international diplomacy. आपका हुआ है क्या यार? नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है. Anyways, let's now move from the topic. ये जो हुआ है कि दो leaders, you have to find it out. Okay, so that's the part at individual level. This is through the process of socialization, we have said. Apart from that, value system are also imbibed when you join organization or profession. Organization and profession. What is the organization and profession's code of conduct and code of ethics became your value system till the time you are with the particular organization and profession. So what does it mean? So whatever your individual belief system is there, once you join the organization, that organization belief system is also become a part of your belief system or your value system. So that is the organizational and professional ethics, we say. So that's also inculcate the values. And there is a third level. This is at an individual level, individual process at individual level. What are the process of socialization? This is at the organizational level and the professional level. What are the process? And then finally, at the national or level of nation or state, we can put it. at country level when it comes to why we are discussing, because what is the perspective of us to look towards the country and towards the nation, that's also determine the value system of us. Let me discuss this more. Yes, anybody can tell me the difference in between nation and state, if at all there is any difference? Yes, there is a difference. Yes, what is difference?
Nation is more of an idea rather than a territory. It's a feeling of solidarity, and hence you need a hyphen between these two because
Okay.
yeah, that is very important. If you don't put the hyphen, it's actually wrong because they bring two very different concepts together. One is the idea, the other needs the four things. What video mentioned, the four things that you mentioned. You need population, you need sovereignty.
आपका ऑप्शनल पॉलिटिकल साइंस है क्या? मॉन्टेविडियो एग्रीमेंट कैसे पता है आपको?
I'm a law. I was a law.
अच्छा, लॉ स्कूल में, ठीक है, हाँ बताइए.
So, sir, it brings two things together.
नहीं, कैन द नेशन एग्जिस्ट विदाउट द स्टेट? नो. नो और यस? Can nation exist without the state? Which one? Yes, yes, very good. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, very good. Yes, yes. Certainly. See, the thing is that this is more of a political term. When we say political term, there are certain four different parameters we identify. It should have a specific territory. Okay? A specific territory that your boundary is recognized by all the countries. Then you need to have a specific territory, matlab you are delineated by an international boundary. Second is you need to have a specific population. Then you need to have a government. And the fourth is sovereignty. Sovereignty is supremacy, that you are supreme internally and you are supreme in international politics. It means that you are the representative of your country, which is recognized by the other countries as well. Because recognition from the other country is important. Now, these four characters will make you state or a political state that we say. It's a more of a political term. Now come to this nation. Nation is more of a mental construct. क्या कुछ problem है क्या? This is fine. It's a more of a mental construct. Mental construct means imagined है, and you belong to one country. That is the imagination. You belong to a country, but nonetheless, you necessarily don't have the territory or the boundary. In fact, this you belong to one depends upon, this is a concept of feeling. That is, there is a feeling of oneness. Feeling of oneness that you belong to, specific entity. Now this feeling of oneness itself is function of some common aspects that is shared. There has to be certain thing common so that you feel that you belong to a particular thing. So this can be a race, this can be ethnicity, this can be culture, religion. Okay, it can be a common history, religion, culture. It can be a caste also. Okay, so any criteria which is common to all, and therefore you think that you belong to one particular entity. That is a mental construct. But it's not essential that you have the boundary which is recognized internationally. Take an example of Palestine. Okay, Palestine is a nation which is aspiring to become a state. We have the Gaza Strip and we have the West Bank, but still it's not an internationally what they call a disputed territory between the Israel and Palestine. Palestine is still, although Palestine has taken many baby steps to become a state, because UNESCO has now considered the Palestine as a member. But yes, there are various steps, but ultimately Palestine is a nation which is striving to become a state. Now what he has said, that is a Kurd population, which is in the Turkey, Syria, okay, some parts in there in the northern part of the Iraq. So they are fighting for land. Okay, so that territory and they should become a state, but still today they are a nation. Without the India, India is a nation or a state? इतना आंसर इजी नहीं है, ऐसे पूछता क्या मैं? इतना इजी रहता तो हाँ ठीक है, बताओ जो भी है. It is both, huh? Yes, you want to say something? Huh? State? Pardon, what he's saying? India, states are nation. Okay. Yes, you are saying something? State with multiple nations. You are making a very powerful statement. Multiple nations means India is not a nation. यहाँ पे आओ, अरुंधति रॉय हो जाओगे आप. Okay? Huh?
So it is a state and it is recognized internationally. Thus, it is unified also. So we call it nation.
Is it unified on the ground? Feeling of oneness. It means that 1 billion population in one go should feel that they belong to idea called India. Now let's start from north. Okay? Jammu and Kashmir. Let's start from northeast, east. Nagaland. Let's start from Khalistan, either. Let's start from Dravid. Let's start from center, Naxalite. Okay? So the point is when we call nation, okay, there are certain secessionist movement or where they feel that because this is not about, say, do not feel uncomfortable. This is about the feeling. Okay, this is about the feeling, whether people feel or not. Certainly, I'm not going to conclude India is not a nation. India is nation for all practical purpose. But then, on the ground, you see that what the Nehru has put in Discovery of India, India is nation in making. Now, why this problem is there with respect to India, and why we are considering under the value inculcation is, what is the basis of nation that actually determines what kind of the values people hold. Now, problem with India is, if you see the race, we don't have a common race, we don't have common ethnicity, don't have common culture, religion, and the caste. Therefore, we haven't taken particularly the religious, language, culture as a criteria to define our nationhood. Okay, there was a concept of Hindu Rashtra as articulated by the Savarkar. But that idea has not been taken into account when we got independence and prepared our constitution. In constitution, we have rejected religion as a basis for nation. Okay, we have adopted secularism as a criteria. So this is not a one religion, one nation country. Okay, it's a secular country first. Second is we have based our nationhood values based upon certain shared history and shared values. That is a common history or shared history and shared values. These shared values have been articulated in preamble of constitution where it says, we the people of India give ourselves solemnly to this republic, democratic, socialist, secular. Okay, so these are the words and these are the values, justice, liberty, equality. So these values should be the basis for our nation. Are you understanding or not? Okay, so therefore, now where the problem lies? The problem lies when we talk about nation, there has to be a feeling of oneness and there has to be certain component. So you have a national flag, okay, you have the national anthem, you have single constitution, you have shared history, okay, so on and so forth. But the problem here occurs, these are emotive issues. Emotive issues, you understand? The more emotional, we really don't have emotional investment with respect to the national flag as we have emotional investment with respect to our religion and caste. In rest of the countries where we say that the nation is powerful concept or nation and states are identical, where there is a homogeneous population, okay, or 99% of the population belonging to one religion or one race or one ethnicity or one language, okay, so on the basis of which they define their criteria. Say, for example, during the time Hitler has said German race should be the criteria for German creation, and therefore there was a Lebensraum. There is a place for German and no place for others. Therefore, Jews have no role to be a part of a German, and therefore the kind of atrocities were committed against the Jews during that time. So here, value system how get adopted and what are the challenge comes here. It does not mean even if you are placing the national identity based upon modern values, it does not mean these are irrelevant. Fundamental rights have given to you in order to uphold religion, language, culture, etc. Everything. Like say for example, religion 25, 26, 27, 28. Language 29, 30. Even the minority language has been protected. Minority culture also has been protected. Now the only thing is what is being protected, but that has not considered as a criteria for the nation building. Okay, so these are so-called subnational identities. When it comes to the nation, these identities should have upper hand over this. This is not absolutely irrelevant. You can have these things in your life, but this should not be the basis for nationhood. Problem within India is because these are emotive issues, therefore we rally behind such issues more as compared to the basis on which we have created the nation. And therefore the religion becomes the fundamental, language becomes fundamental, culture becomes fundamental vis-a-vis the different criteria that we have gone for the nation. Now, how the values are inculcated, if you are not taking the understanding of India as a nation on the basis of modern democratic values or the ideas that have been enshrined in the constitution, if you take this factor into consideration, more modern values will be, like your perspective will be different, because that kind of the value and socialization will happen that yes, we have a different religion, but at the end of the day we are Indian first, and Indian first is not on the basis of religion. But if you have these parochial identities which have been imbibed more on you as a part of a concept of nation, therefore then we get the voices like Hindu Rashtra. Okay, we get the voices like language should be the basis for independence. Like in earlier times there was a Dravidian movement in the south, although we have overcome those tendencies. Khalistan was the moment where the Sikh population wanted a separate country based upon religion. That has also been partly overcome. Partly, completely you can say that. But still the problem exists with respect to Northeast, because on the basis of race, on the basis of historic criteria, such as in case of Nagaland, that you must have been reading the news like NSCN, that is National Socialist Council of Nagalim. There is a Khaflang faction, Isak and Muiwa faction, IM faction. Now there is a KK faction also is coming. So since independence, not today, since 1947, the Nagaland and this group of people have never accepted the complete integration of Nagaland with respect to the India. So there is a trouble. In case of Jammu and Kashmir, we have 370 as we have applied. But here we are talking about the feeling of oneness. So what is required is more things required to be done on the ground, so that Kashmiri people should start feeling and relating themselves with the identity of India and not just as a Kashmiri. This requires a psychological integration. Are you understanding? So the summary point here is what you considered as a basis for your nation. In that perspective, the values are shaped when you look at the international level. Now, the problem with India is most of the times majoritarian people are thinking religion is a criteria, and therefore the one who is supporting the minorities, he is becoming an anti-national, because they have considered religion and nation as an identical thing. Have you understood this part? Okay. The value inculcation depending upon what criteria you think. Now, nation state kya hota hai? Nation state is you have a modern state, plus people also feel oneness. There's a very strong state where you have a state also, and where people are also putting a weight on you that yes, we belong to one particular country. That becomes a nation state. Have you understood this part? So, the values, different values will come at different point of time. Basic values are values of socialization, then in a formal sense, organization and profession, and then finally this, the value of a nation, okay, or value of, if you have seen the Shah Rukh Khan movies, Chak De India, okay, there was a scene that the girls are introducing to a leader. So, a ladki is coming, stepping up and saying that I am from this area, that area, second girl, third girl, and he's saying that no, you are rejected, you are rejected, you are rejected. And the final girl comes and pop-ups and she says that I belong to India, and then he chooses. Because when it comes to the nation, You should not bring the regional and sub-national tendencies when you are considering it as a nation. Okay, when nation has to be there, there has to be some criteria which cut across all the religion, which cut across all culture, all political parties, and therefore there has to be a single entity. And single entity for this, for us today is this shared culture history, shared culture past. In fact, one of the contribution of the Britishers that we say, although it's all negative with respect to Britishers, but one positive contribution was that they have united India because we identified there is a common enemy. Since there is a common enemy, we got united. Okay, so that's where we say that the shared culture history, shared culture past, okay, where the Mughals were there, India has shared the common things. So these aspects are important in the nation building process. Yes. यूएसए को नेशंस कह सकते हैं क्योंकि बियॉन्ड द सी डिफरेंट कलर डज नॉट मीन दैट यू आर नॉट अ नेशन डिफरेंट कलर्स एग्जिस्ट बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू that's why they say that if Barack Obama speaking, if you have seen at any point of time, particularly his yes, change can happen, ये जो speech थी उसमें बताया था उन्होंने, whether there are blacks, whether there are whites, whether there are straight, whether they are gays, whether they are Hispanics, whether they are Asians. Okay, ultimately what is identity is United States. So United States themselves have developed the culture. It's called as a very interesting concept called melting pot culture. Okay, melting pot culture is belong to America, where people come from different castes, region, religion, culture, but ultimately when they go to the America, it becomes American identity. Okay, the culture is so vibrant, what is called American culture, that you become American first, and then your जो caste, ये जो parochial identities आती है, it becomes secondary in America. Whereas in case of Africa, it's all the more different. अफ्रीका इट इज कॉल्ड एज रेम्बो कल्चर, नॉट मेल्टिंग पॉट कल्चर. जो वहां पे जाता है तो वहां पे वो आइडेंटिटी पहले इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. आई एम इंडियन, आई एम हिंदू, आई एम दिस, आई एम दैट. जैसे इंडिया में भी देखो आप, ओके, विच आइडेंटिटी इज फार मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. लाइक पहले जैसे नाम पूछते हो, लोगों को क्यूरियोसिटी रहती है इसका सरनेम क्या है. okay, जैसे सरनेम बताया जाता है तो लोग अच्छा ये ऐसा है, वो ऐसा है, ये इस हायरार्की से बिलोंग करता है, वो इस हायरार्की से, ये पंडित होगा, ये होगा, ये वो होगा. Okay, so the point is this identity becoming more important. In fact, you see that as the India is moving towards more modernization, we generally do not use our titles. Okay, in the past, you see that 70s, 80s, people used to first tell the titles. Nowadays, you do not see this practice of telling the titles, but still people will insist. क्या है? और जैसे ही वो हाँ मेरे ही है, चलो हम सब एक ही हैं. ओके, और जैसे ही पता चलता है नहीं यार दोस्त तो हो लेकिन थोड़ा सा मतलब लग रहा है कि बाद में प्रॉब्लम होगा. ओके, सो दैट्स द पॉइंट. ओके, सो दीज आर द व्हाट इज कॉल्ड द डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ एथिक्स. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस प्लीज आस्क, अदरवाइज वी कैन स्टार्ट डायमेंशंस ऑफ एथिक्स. राइट, द नेक्स्ट दैट इज डायमेंशंस ऑफ एथिक्स. So many people have criticized the concept of nation. As he has said, Benedict Anderson, the word itself is imagined identities. Imagined matlab kya hai? These are just imagined. There's no existence. This is abstract. Okay, Rabindranath Tagore was not also very much happy with this nation and this thing. Nation is a form of regionalism only. Ultimately, you have to understand. You are not considering humanism. Humanism is, you consider human. Here you are dividing the people on the basis of either race, either any other parochial cultural criteria. So cultural criteria is a basis. This is called as a balkanization. Okay, if you have studied, आपके history हुआ है क्या? नहीं भी हुआ होगा तो balkanization तो पता होगा term. Okay, where the Yugoslavia has been divided on the basis of race into small countries based upon their cultural identity. So should the cultural identity should be more important, or humanity as an aspect should be more important? That is the debate, okay, or that is where we see that modernity versus the traditional values. Okay, let's come to now next part, that is dimensions of ethics. Dimensions of ethics. Now, in case of dimensions of ethics, if you see what we are actually going to discuss here, what is the basis on the basis of which we determine anything is right and wrong. Which basis should we use? Now, there is not a single basis in ethics. There are different bases, and these different bases of determination of right and wrong are nothing but different dimensions of ethics. Okay, different perspectives, different bases, different viewpoints which help in determination of right and wrong. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss here. Um, Obviously, there is not a single criteria, and therefore here there are various theories of ethics. हम बहुत सारी theories देखेंगे इसमें, and then we will understand how there is a difficult in problem of judgment of right and wrong, because at the end of the day, when we judge right and wrong, it's not always an objective and absolute. Which criteria people apply, depending upon criteria, you will have different answers, okay, to reach something is right or something is wrong. So we will see that what are the criteria and what are the different aspects. Before going into the discussion, I'm giving you some of the case studies. So you just listen to it and answer a few questions. Take this as a mountainous slope is there, okay? And on the mountain slope, this is the road here going straight. On the slope of the mountain at this trolley, there is a trolley, or you're having a car. Okay. Car is rolling down in this direction. 4 individuals are standing here. Huh? क्या हो गया? What happened? बाहर मतलब क्या हो गया? अरे जोर से तो बोलो, जो भी बोलो. टायर बाहर आ गया. Yes, here the person is sitting and driving the car. Yes, this person is you. Okay. तो अब सोचो, बहुत अच्छी कार सोचोगे अब तो. ठीक है. You are coming this way. Now, obviously, we know that unfortunately the brakes have failed. You are coming straight. You ram into 4. Okay, there is this thing. If you come straight, ram into 4, will be a sort of accident. Accident which will lead into killing of 4. Okay, coming straight, ramming into 4, killing 4. Now, there you see that there is a some small road here, and this is one individual going in his farm. Okay, काम करने एक जा रहा है farmer. From here you can see this thing, and there is a possibility that you can turn the vehicle consciously. Okay, consciously you can change the string. You can ram the car on him and kill him. Consciously you can kill him in order to save the 4. Okay. Now the question is, how many of you really going to come and kill? That is one, or go straight. And what are the reasons for it? Please think 2 minutes before answering, because I will be more interested in knowing the reasons than what the action is being taken. I hope the question is clear to you. And there is no pause. You are not Spider-Man, Superman, mechanical engineer. कोई नहीं हो आप. Okay, simple situation है. You can turn the car, vehicle consciously. Yes, how many of you are going to kill? How many of you are going to kill? Yes, please raise the hand. How many of you are going to kill? Please raise the hand properly. Okay. How many of you are going to go straight? Going to go straight? Only 1, 2. What the rest of the people will be doing? Huh? There is, अरे ये थोड़ी ना है कि यहाँ पे पॉज मार के बैठ गए हो. वीडियो गेम थोड़ी ना है. It means that you are not turning, means you are ramming into the 4. Absolutely killing 4. That's the answer which I have to take. How many of you are going to go straight and kill 4? Okay, few. Okay, let's start from the one who is going to kill 1. What is the answer for them? यस बताइए, आप आंसर बताओ। अरे जिन्होंने ये आंसर दिया है कि वी विल टर्न द व्हीकल, यस, व्हाट इज द आंसर, व्हाई? हाँ, लेस डैमेज, ओके। Four life is greater than one, and therefore you are okay going to save this. Okay, you are killing anyone who has said that. Okay, they go straight and will not go into this direction. What is their answer? Anyone who has raised the hand? Yes. What is the reason for them? Yes. अरे आप तो हमने बोला आप ज्यादा एथिकल हो, आप तो बड़े ही ईगो सेल्फ सेंट्रिक। अरे कार कार को जो भी होगा, वी हैव ऑलरेडी सेड द सिचुएशन अबाउट द कार विल बी द सेम इन बोथ द केसेस। ओके, आइदर यू कैन किल वन और फोर। हाँ, यस, गो अहेड। हाँ, ओके, हाँ, okay. See, fine. I'll take that. See, as per his orientation, you will kill four. I got that point. Okay. So what he is thinking essentially is he can blame the machine. Okay, and it was a sort of an accident, so that he can feel peacefully in the night. He will at least not feel I have consciously turned the vehicle and rammed into one. He will blame the machine. His viewpoint, okay? His viewpoint is this: he has applied that criteria because, as per him, consciously killing is not correct, or for him, it will not be a so moral. So going straight, at least an accident. Now hold on for a while. I'll give you the second case. Okay, I'll put this less damage wala thing यहाँ पे. Yes, any other answer? Okay, whatever. See, the thing is, ultimately what he has found is killing one, going out of the way, for him is wrong thing to do. ये accident उनके लिए, उनके point of view से है, ठीक है? हाँ, हाँ, तो वही ना, हमने वही बोला, he saved 3 people, वही आ जाएगा ये 4:1. That is what. That is what. See, sum total of all is this, ना? Answer is this. वही तो बोल रहे हैं. Yes, choosing the thought. See, choosing thoughts में आपने 3 की ज्यादा लाइफ बचा दी, मतलब 4 की लाइफ बचाती, 1 की लाइफ गवा दी, यही ना? Ultimately, the thing is this: that you have saved the 3 more lives. That's why you feel okay, because there is more benefits in saving 3 more rather than like killing 4 and then saving the life of 1. Now, there is a second case here. This is a hospital scenario. 4 individuals are battling with life and death. Okay. Final end stage disease जिसको बोलते हैं, उनके organ खराब हुए हैं. Spleen has been damaged. Heart is not functioning. Kidney दोनों डैमेज होनी चाहिए. ओके, नहीं, एक किडनी से एक और लिवर आपका फेवरेट, वो भी डैमेज कर देते. ओके, 4 different organ has been damaged. This is an ICU. Okay, you are a surgeon, okay, who is looking after this particular case. Now, there is another scenario in the hospital only. This is an ICU department. There is one department, blood donation camp, blood donation department. Okay, there are so many people here. One individual have arrived there to celebrate his birthday by donating the blood. Okay, कई लोग बहुत नेक काम करते हैं. Okay, बर्थडे को ब्लड डोनेट करने जाते हैं. ये यहाँ पे ब्लड डोनेट करने आया है. Now, the skilled surgeon was taking a walk, okay, thinking about what requires to be done. Now he occurred to see this particular person, okay, who is a healthy, चारों organ इसके एकदम intact है, and it occurred to his mind कि I am a skilled transplant surgeon, I can take up his spleen, heart, kidney and liver, okay, I can carry out transplant operation and I can save the life of 4 at the cost of 1. Okay, so hypothetically taking, let's assume that you are that skilled surgeon, okay, and the transplant operation is going to be a successful, if at all you are going ahead with this particular case. Now, how many of you are going to take the organs and perform this operation? No, man, okay, man will be get killed. 4 organ निकालने के बाद क्या heart? हाँ. Okay, let me add that point also separately for you. If it is consent, will you go ahead? नहीं, let's assume that he has given the consent. Anybody who will be going? Okay, let me come to that point also. First of all, with consent, how many are there? 2. Okay, lot many. Okay, ठीक है. First of all, let's discuss without consent why you will not be, or with consent or without consent. There are some people with and without, still they are not going ahead with the operation. Okay, why? नहीं, आप तो आपका consent के साथ है ना? अच्छा, even with the consent you are not going. Okay, हाँ, answer then. No, here we are assuming that the transplant is happening, they are going to be a healthy मतलब क्या है? There is a process getting delayed, at least they are being saved, they will be come out of the ICU, whatever happen later on, we're not talking about that. Okay, killing a person is not correct, fine. I think that's the more or less answer. Why killing person is not okay when you are saving the life of 4? Where there you have justified that 4 is greater than 1. Okay, we can save a maximum number of lives. Yes, what do you think about it? Now the surgeon, how can you sleep well without saving 3 more? You will feel more restless in night. I would have saved 3. No, I am asking him. Will not be, huh? What is about your conscience? उसके लिए नहीं छोड़ो, आपको क्या लगता है? Yes, morally correct, because here he has used some other criteria. See, the ultimately result was consequence of both of cases. 4 की life save हो रही है, 1 की life at the cost of 1. Here also 4 की life save हो रही है at the cost of 1. Okay, in both the cases, the result is same. The result is same in both cases, but in this case, we have also seen not only the end result, but whether the means of doing it correct or not. And now people are thinking that result does not matter at times. Sometimes the means of doing also matters. It's not always the end matters, but the means also matters. Now let me come to, yes, those people. Okay, I'll come to that. आपके पास भी आता हूँ. हाँ, the one with the consent we're saying. हाँ. अरे लेट नहीं है यहाँ पे, वो ऑप्शन नहीं चल रहा है. यहाँ पे है कि this is a given situation, you cannot fix it with now, change the situation. अरे are you thinking that one organ is already damaged, उनका और organ निकाल के दूसरे organ में दे दो, 4 की life सेव हो रही है. This is a hypothetical situation. Okay, we have to draw. ये आपको ऑपरेशन में वहां पे नहीं बुलाया गया कि क्या करना है करके. This is a simple situation that is given Do not change the situation. This is the existing situation. Yes, you tell how the consent is going to make a difference. Those who are talked about the consent.
Consent makes it all right for me to, as a surgeon, to perform it medically. It
Huh.
was not my choice.
Yes, but the consent is the consent. See, when okay, any other person? Huh? I'll come to that. Hmm. It's completely logical to go without go, right? Okay. There is a case for you now. Okay. Let's see that you are an police officer. Okay. And you got a telephone call from an anonymous source. Anonymous source is telling you that there are 4 terrorist bombs that have been planted in different parts of the city. Okay. You are a police officer there. And he has made a request like the number of casualties is going to be very high, but there is a one condition where I will only defuse the bomb and let the bomb blast will not happen. And the condition is, in front of you where you are standing on a street, there are 10 people going. Please shoot them and make a photograph or videograph and send the clip immediately to me on WhatsApp. Okay? And I will save the rest of the people. So you are that officer. What you are going to do? Are you going to kill the people who are walking on the street? No, let him answer logically, because he is counting the number of people who are going to get killed are very high. Hmm. You will do that? Okay. Let's take one more example. Okay. Say something like terrorist bomb squad is there, and there was a 16-year-old girl and his father. You got the information on an particular apartment in a house. They are hiding. You, as a terrorist diffusal squad, went there in an apartment, and you have found that by the time you reach there, the father has left there from that particular place, and the daughter has opened the window for the door for you. You asked, and you thought she's saying that I don't know anything about it, and then you inquire. Now there is a possibility that you can torture her, okay? You can beat her. You can do whatever possible. Less than killing, you can torture, beat mercilessly, whatever third-degree punishment जो होता है, in order to extract the information. Because then the life of 10 is waiting. If you are not, then obviously it is going to happen. So are you going to torture this girl in order to extract the information? Huh? Yes, बताओ. नहीं, let him tell. Yes, are you going to torture her? Yes. Okay, ठीक है. Thank you so much. So I got the point. I'll come to that point also. Yes, आपका consent वाला? Okay, so let me come to that also. So I got the both answers from this party. One answer is like at any point we can dilute the means in order to justify the end. And second is with respect to the consent. Now think of somebody has also talked about euthanasia. You cannot compare here euthanasia because the person is healthy. Are you not understanding why active euthanasia and passive euthanasia are debated? Passive euthanasia is debated because you are, yes, the active euthanasia is rejected by the court because you are actively killing the person, which has its moral hazard. Even when he is almost dead, we are thinking that he may be, for all bad reasons, will be killed because of property, because of will, because of n number of other things. Still, we haven't allowed the active euthanasia because there is a running of moral hazard. Here is a case where you are thinking a completely active, healthy person and killing him. Second thing is about the medical issues and this thing. No medical ethics allows to give the consent on your body to kill oneself. Are you understanding? No, no, yes, of course, given in situation also, even when the consent is given, the medical ethics does not allow you to take the active life of a person. No, not this way. See, the thing is, it means that every time the blood donation, forget about this case of planting the organ. Have you seen the cases when the people come for the blood donation, the weight is taken, the other healthy parameters are taken, and even when your hemoglobin is less than 10, he is not supposed to give the blood. Why? Because anything which is detrimental to him, we cannot use some people as an agent or as a mean in order to create the healthy life for the others, because it has its moral hazard. Have you understood these cases or not? Yes?
Sir, with consent, there is no more middle path.
Hmm.
We can save the donor and two more persons. With kidney transplant and with liver transplant.
Hmm.
But the heart transplant.
See, the thing is, what is not affecting his active life, you can do. Okay, say for example, one kidney you can transplant. But here that case is not available. We have created a case wherein he has to die. Are you understanding this factor? He has to die 100%. There is no possibility here. What you are saying is justified. That's why we donate the blood, we donate the different organs. Okay, that is one kidney is donated because still life is healthy. Have you seen any cases where two kidneys of donor has been taken and given to some third fellow? No, it's not. Okay, now with this discussion, let's come to the criterias. So the criteria is, sometimes we use the criteria that is end. Okay, end. And sometimes we use the criteria that is means. End and means are the two aspects to judge the human action. Okay, so in case of end, when we take, it is called consequential ethics, and this is called deontological ethics. So you can write the first criteria, that is theory of consequential ethics. Theory of consequential ethics. This is also called as, in bracket you can write, teleological ethics. Teleological or consequential ethics. Now, you can write some points regarding it. What is consequential ethics? That right and wrong is determined. Right and wrong is determined on the basis of judging the consequence, on the basis of judging the consequence or the outcome or the end result of human action. Okay, consequential ethics is one where you judge right and wrong based upon seeing the end result of an action. End result, or ultimately the final outcome of an action. Final outcome means here the means are not seen. Anything which justify the end will justify your morality of your action. Now write an example here. Example of consequential ethics is utilitarianism. Example is utilitarianism. Utilitarianism, this philosophy is given by Jeremy Bentham. Okay, just write in Bentham here. Bentham. Now write, according to Bentham, the criteria to judge, according to Bentham, the criteria to judge right and wrong is, comma into noted comma, greatest happiness of greatest number. Greatest happiness of greatest number. Now this is a dictum or sort of a formula he would use in order to justify action. Now think of in the first case, second case, okay. So wherever he says that the maximum number are getting benefited, that will be always true. Okay, 100% of the cases, whenever there is a maximum number are getting benefited, he will say that such action is justified. It does not matter what the means you have applied. So this theory called utilitarian because there is a utility. What is the benefit of it? Okay, the word itself is a utility. Utility means what is utility of action. Utility of action itself has to be judged on the basis of end result, and within the end result you should apply this formula, that is greatest happiness of greatest number. So that is about the consequential ethics. Teleology, it's called as teleo because teleo is a destiny. The literal meaning of teleo is a destiny. It means that what is the ultimate outcome of outcome or the ultimate result of your action. Okay, that is called teleological. Now write the second theory. Okay, so this theory is basically based upon the end result. That's the point here. And okay, dimensions here. Consequential ethics. Second is called deontological ethics. Okay, second is called deontological ethics. It is also called as Kantian ethics. Kantian ethics. Okay, deonto, the literal meaning here is duty. Okay, performing your duties. Now here, see, yesterday we have discussed something called Nishkam Karma. What was the Nishkam Karma? Doing your duties without expecting the end result. It means that do your duties, do not worry about the result. So when you are looking out for benefits, that is not very ethical. That is basically utilitarian. You are more looking for the benefits. That's not an ultimate ethics. According to Immanuel Kant, means should be the criteria that whether you are performing your pious duties or not, that should be the criteria and not the end result. So write something about this, deontological ethics. Right and wrong is determined on the basis of means or in bracket duty. Right and wrong is based on the basis of means and not on the basis of end result. And not on the basis of end result. Not on the basis of end result. Okay, so this is what we call the deontological ethics. Now write the example of deontological ethics. There was a person called this Immanuel Kant who has given the doctrine. So example, Immanuel Kant, okay, who has given this, that's why it is called Kantian ethics. Immanuel Kant has talked about dignity of individual, as an important criteria, to judge right and wrong. According to him, no individual should be used as means for the benefit of other individuals, that is in bracket ends, so here in fact he was, can you think of where some one particular person whose dignity is also getting hampered and he is used as a means and then to achieve the gratification for other group of individuals? Can you think of any example in society? Hmm? Gandhi ji, okay, huh. He has also focused upon the means and mains. Very good. Huh?
So in the Holocaust, a lot of officers later in their testimonies said that we were just doing our duty
Huh.
and we did not realize the gravity
Problem. Okay, that's.
of the evils that we were committing.
Huh.
And later, a lot of experiments done in Yale and Cambridge also said that blind servitude or obedience to one's duty is one of the leading causes of formation of evil in society.
Okay, fine. Yes. In fact, we are going to take that case as a very separate case. There is this person called Hannah Arendt. Okay, she has talked about something called banality of evil. Okay, in that we are going to discuss that aspect, that is communal Holocaust and this Germany and the Jews atrocities. There was a movie that is Nuremberg trial. Okay, ट्रायल एट नुरम्बर्ग करके एक मूवी है, उसमें दिखाया है काफी सारा. ओके, एनीवेज विल कम टू दैट एस्पेक्ट. और थोड़ा बता. हाँ, yes, certainly that when we discuss about the slavery, okay, Immanuel Kant was in fact talking about the slavery. In case of slavery, you see that one individual is slave. See, what he is trying to say is individual one. Immanuel Kant has said that individual one should not be used, okay, should not be tortured, should not be used as a machine for the gratification of other individual, because worth of every individual is equal. Okay, you cannot treat some individual as a subhumans. Okay, and you can use them like an animal, torture or any kind of thing. In fact, he was talking about this. There is a prevalent system where the slavery was practiced, and you must have seen in many of the Hollywood movies the slaves like 300 dekha hai. Okay, so people used to या 300 या फिर gladiator में है. Okay, so it's like a game they will use for they will use some of the individual in a inhuman way. Okay, and that is for the gratification. So Immanuel Kant says that the ethics cannot be judged on the basis of how happy they are. Ethics has to be also judged what sort of the means that have employed. And in the means, if you really see, there is a lot of heinous activities continued. That's why he says that every life is a worth life. Therefore, he brings a component of dignity of individual, dignity of every individual. Right further, he says, every individual is end in himself. He says, every individual, comma into inverted comma mein likho this statement. Every individual is end in himself. End in himself. And no individual should be used. No individual should be used as means to an end. No individual should be used as means to an end. So, जैसे बेंथम ने एक स्टेटमेंट दिया था, greatest happiness of greatest number, this should be the criteria for judgment, which was an example of consequential ethics. He has given this criteria that individual should be end in himself, मतलब he should be the reason for himself. He should not be used as a means for the exploitation. Okay. Ultimately, it's not about individual. The whole philosophy, when we discuss about deontology, okay, it is about focusing upon the means rather than on the end. Also, it does not mean that you first see what is the consequence ka effect, then see means ka effect, then choose either of the two. That's not the consideration. Immanuel Kant will say that ethics is all about means, whether you apply the pious means or not. Say, for example, other example I can give, you can, the competitive exam is going on and you are doing cheating and then you got a rank. Okay, first rank, second rank, whatever the rank you have got, you have become emerged as a successful candidate. After cheating, हाँ बिहार समझ लो, ठीक है, ठीक है, चीटिंग भी नहीं हुई थी यार उसमें तो काफी ही अलग है. बिहार इज बिहार. ओके, चीटिंग करके भी शायद ही वो लिख पाएंगे. No, not Bihar. No, please do not. It is not a stereotyping for Bihar. Okay, don't take it that way. That particular case I was referring to. So that case where cheating is there and you get the rank. Now this particular person, this Bentham would say that again the end has to be seen, or the consequential ethics. Those who believe in consequence will say that end justifies means. Okay, end is important. But then obviously if you see the means, the cheating in itself is a wrong thing to do. So if you apply the criteria of the means, then morally it will not be correct. Or there can be a second case where you have not done cheating. There is a second case where you don't know anything in the examination hall, but you have left the paper blank, or whatever you know, only that much you have written. And then result is obviously you have failed in the examination hall. Now let's understand a parent has two children. One is gone for the cheating, got the rank. The other one is gone in the examination hall, not written anything and got failed. Now this is the case in front of you. Which one is more moral? Which one is more ethical? So people apply consequential ethics will consider first is more, because their criteria to judge things is end. And the criteria here to judge is means. What about you? What you will judge? Yeah, what you will see here? Okay, thank you so much. So somewhere means you will see in life. Okay. Okay. Yes, in this case, obviously, here you have to see the means. So there are certain cases where Immanuel Kant has said that cannot be applied a criteria of end. See, ultimately, there is no answer. We are not even concluded that always means should be the criteria. We are going to see different cases wherein these are the cases of ethical dilemma in a particular situation which should be used. We will discuss this later, but first let's finish with the dimensions of ethics. So this is the second dimension. Now, what she has said is about Gandhi. Yes, Gandhi was also a proponent of the deontological ethics, that means should be equally good as that of ends. That's why he has gone for the non-violent method for the independence. Okay, so he has said that you cannot really claim the moral victory by killing the people. How can you claim the moral victory? By killing the people and then say that I am the winner. Okay, because the means that you have employed was essentially wrong. So he said, he has talked about there should be an essential continuity between the means and ends. Okay, we'll discuss those points when we are going to do the thinkers. Now write the third now. That is
One would argue that Gandhi already knew that fighting the conventional battle with the British won't lead to victory, and hence he used moral
yes, certainly, yes.
authority as a
Yes, certainly. That's why it is being said that he was more intelligent than rest of the people can ever think about him. That it is being said that whether he was a saint who was trying to become a politician or a politician who was trying to become a saint. Okay, because he was very clever in understanding this aspect. That how can you have a victory over the Britishers? They have the guns, bullets, army. Okay, they just requires one violent act like Chauri Chaura, so as to crush the public. So he knew this aspect certainly. But that was not the only consideration. If you see other, like the moment Chauri Chaura happened, he has taken back the movement. So principles plus there were obviously the what we call the tactics and gimmicks he has with him. Are you done with your history class? There is a struggle, truth, struggle. You know this, okay? Struggle, truth, struggle, truth, struggle. So this was a non-cooperation. This was civil disobedience. This was Quit India movement. Okay. Then immediately he will go and sit on charkha. Okay. This was the phase. Yes. This was the phase. He was an active phase. This was a passive phase. Now what he used to do? What was the charkha all about? This was a constructive program of Gandhi. He knew that there is a malice within the system also. Unless and until you correct them and you unify them, you cannot win the victory over the enemy. Okay, so this was a well thought strategy. It was not a matter of a chance that such thing have happened. He knew that unless and until we unite, and unless and until, he was also of this opinion, if tomorrow Britishers will go from the country, there is a possibility of division within the society, because Hindu, Muslim, okay, then men and women, then the caste discrimination, untouchability. Okay, there are variety of the social evils which where India was fighting. So he wanted to unite. Somewhere he has that thing in his mind that if we unite, then obviously then only we can score the victory, moral victory over the enemy. So yes, there are many things within the Gandhi's ideology. We'll discuss when we'll discuss the Indian thinkers. Now write the third point, that is about the virtue ethics. Virtue ethics. What do you understand by virtue? Word literal meaning? Hmm? Something that? Yes, good qualities. Good or desirable attributes of a person. What is opposite of it? Vice. Okay. Bad or undesirable attributes or qualities of individual. Now, right here, now first understand what is this theory all about. See, what you have done so far is human action has two parts. That is means and ends. The one which focuses on ends, this is a consequential ethics. The one which focuses on means, that is a deontological ethics. Now you see here the human actions must be performed by some individual also. So let's understand this individual who is carrying out this action. Now virtue ethics is a theory which focuses on character building of individual rather than the human action. Okay, moral character building of a person, how to build the moral character by inculcating the virtues in him and by eliminating the vices, so that we can bring in more moral and virtuous person in society, so that once we have all the virtuous people, everything that happen in society is going to be only good. Are you understanding? It is not the evaluatory theory. It is basically the theory to inculcate the values in an individual through which we are going to make virtuous people who will be ultimately virtuous in society. Have you understood this part? Okay, so write something about it. As virtue ethics. Virtue ethics focuses on character building of an individual, by cultivating or inculcating, good values, in bracket virtues, and at the same time eliminating the bad qualities or the vices. In bracket you can write vices. By eliminating the bad qualities, bad qualities in bracket vices. Now this is very, very primary theory. I would say that the most important also, although we don't realize its significance, because sometimes it is utopian to think. Utopia means what? Ideal. It's too ideal that, and it is certainly an ideal theory, because this focuses on all the people in the society should be virtuous, and therefore there is no problem for the society that to commit any bad mistake. Now we know that, however, the kind of the system we will come up with, it's next to impossible that 100% of the people in the society is going to be a virtuous. But this does not mean that we should write off all such theories, because these are the principal theories in ethics. Ultimately, even if you don't have the 100%, we can have 90, 80, 70, at least one better than what was existing yesterday or what is exist today. Maybe we can far better tomorrow. Okay, so this is a fundamental theory. Yesterday we have discussed about this Delhi gang rape and etc. And then we have discussed the ultimate problem is ultimate solution is not with the law and criminal justice system, because there is a limit what the law and the criminal justice can do. Ultimately, the good virtues has to be inculcated. So whatever we have learned so far through the process of socialization is actually this theory, that through the process of socialization we need to inculcate the virtues in an individual so that there are the moral beings of tomorrow and the problem should not arise. Okay, so that's related with this. So write some examples, like examples according to Plato, there are four cardinal virtues. According to Plato, there are four cardinal virtues. Four cardinal virtues. So, four cardinal virtues. First, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Now you can have any scholar, anyone who has spoken some virtue. Okay, there are tens and thousands of different virtues, good qualities, like say for example, toleration or tolerance is a virtue. Secular idea, having a secular idea, it's a virtue. So there are good number of virtues. Different scholars have talked about different, say, compassion is a virtue, empathy is virtue. Okay, what are the vices? Angry, jealous, okay, hatred. So these are the vices. So this theory says that we should eliminate the vices and focus upon the virtues, so that whatever the action is taken by an individual, it should be virtuous in nature. Next, you can write, that is the rights-based ethics. Rights-based ethics. Break चाहिए क्या तुम्हें? 5 minutes you can take, okay? Or we can finish this right-based ethics. Let's finish this. Yes, rights-based ethics, because we have to start attitude later on. Yes, what is rights-based ethics? See, this is quite a modern theory, and this is sort of trying to bring the objectivity into the ethical subject. Because the problem with other theory is it's very difficult to evaluate the values, the deontology, because as per deontology in consequentialism, because as per the matter of convenience, people can choose consequence, people can choose deontology. So there has to be certain criteria which can be a more objective in judging. So rights-based ethics is bringing that objectivity in a sense that the different group of people or individual are entitled to different rights. Now, human action will be judged on the basis of whether your action is violating someone's rights or upholding someone's right. So your action, if it violates someone's right, then such action will not be an ethical one. Okay, so the simple criteria to judge is you have to identify what are the rights that are being enjoyed by different group of individual or individual for that matter, and then accordingly you have to judge the particular human action. So write something about it. That is, right and wrong is judged. Right and wrong is judged on the basis of rights as enjoyed by. Do not write just right. Right is not right. Okay. RIGST. Rights. Okay. Rights based upon the rights. क्या लिखा? Right and wrong is judged on the basis of rights as enjoyed by individual and group of individual. As enjoyed by individual or group of individual. What is the definition of rights, by the way? Can anybody define rights? पॉलिटी हो गया ना आपका. राइट्स क्या डेफिनेशन क्या है? हाँ, दैट्स अ कंडीशन, यस. और वेरी गुड. आगे. यार इतना एक्सप्रेस सुपर फास्ट चालू किया आपने. हाँ. ओके. लिखो. राइट्स आर एंटाइटलमेंट्स और द प्रिविलेजेस. Rights are entitlements or privileges as enjoyed by individual or group of individual. Because there are certain rights which are individual in nature, like fundamental rights के कुछ एक rights है जो individual है. Religion is not an individual right, it is a group right. So क्या लिखा है? Privileges and entitlements as enjoyed by individual or group of individual as sanctioned by state. As sanctioned by state and recognized by society. As sanctioned by state and recognized by society. तो सैंक्शन की जगह आप ये भी लिख सकते हो, अगर समझ में नहीं आ रहा है वर्ड, तो गारंटीड एंड प्रोटेक्टेड और गारंटीड एंड एनफोर्स्ड बाय स्टेट. लिख लो कहीं पे, व्हाट इज दैट सैंक्शन मीन. ओके. गारंटीड एंड प्रोटेक्टेड और गारंटीड और एनफोर्स्ड. Guaranteed or protected or guaranteed or enforced by state. So there is no meaning for the right if there is nobody to protect them. Okay, it's some meaningless. There is a scholar called Hobbes, which he has said otherwise a statement not related with rights per se. Covenant without swords are nothing but words. Very powerful statement. Covenant without sword. यहाँ पे नहीं है उसका relevance. This I am saying. Covenant without sword are nothing but words. It means that rules and regulation without their enforcement mechanism, it's of no use. So if you are saying that this group of people are enjoying the rights, then if some dominant section are violating their rights, there has to be certain mechanism for implementation in order to ensure that these rights are really enjoyed by particular group of people. Otherwise, there is no significance. So therefore, the definition of rights read is the entitlements and the privileges as enjoyed by individual and group, but there has to be a sanction, guaranteed, protected, enforced by the state. So guarantor is a state. In case of India, you have this judiciary to enforce, like you have the writ jurisdiction, okay, to enforce the fundamental rights, Article 32 to 26 of High Court, okay. So under Article 32 and 226 of High Court, you can go to the Supreme Court and High Court in order to enforce your fundamental rights. Okay, so there is a sanction behind it. So that's the point. In case, so we have a variety of rights, like say for example, fundamental rights are there, human rights are there, natural rights, socio-economic rights, minority rights, cultural rights, LGBT rights. Okay, so there are variety of the rights. So just write some examples, like the examples of rights are this: human rights, the most important one, human rights, fundamental rights, natural rights, legal rights. We are going to again discuss all these aspects when we will discuss thinkers in detail. Isko dekhna hai. Okay, so just this is to understand the broadly what is the dimensions of ethics. Okay, so this is about 4 important dimensions. So dimensions, various ways of determining right and wrong. There is no single way of determining right and wrong. Wherever there is a conflict, these are the cases of ethical dilemma. And in case of ethical dilemma, we will see in the case studies what do you understand by ethical dilemma, what are the steps for resolution of dilemma. Okay, once we have done with the first 5 chapters, then we have to discuss this all ethical dilemmas. So that is about the first section. That is about morality, ethics, relationship, nature of ethics, determinants of ethics, conflicts of value, conflicts of ethics and morality, dimensions. Okay. So after break, we are going to start attitude. Okay, that's the portion. Attitude. Yes, attitude. First, we'll see that what is the significance of this chapter, although we have discussed in the first class. Okay, because this significance you should keep in mind. This is not we have to study from just psychological point of view. That's not our purpose. Although the concept is taken and borrowed from the psychology, but ultimately we have to see the significance of this concept and implementation of ethical values in civil services. Okay, so civil services, there is certain problem with respect to the way the civil services are at present period of time, and there are certain aspects which are questioned or called upon. That is something like bureaucratic attitude. Okay, in fact, there is a term called bureaucratic attitude. This we see that is what is bureaucratic attitude. We have discussed something. What's wrong with this? Impersonal in nature. Good. Apathy. Okay, lack of empathy. ठीक है. Okay, fine. That is there. Okay. In fact, when we say that apathy, it is a euphemism for arrogance. Okay. Euphemism, you understand? Harsh reality told in soft words. Okay. So actually, it's arrogance, but we call it harassment, apathy. Okay, insensitivity. What is an apathy? Insensitivity and indifference, attitude of indifference and insensitivity. Now, this bureaucratic apathy is why, now this is what is coming out. Like people are thinking that bureaucracy is quite apathetic towards particularly the weaker section of society or towards the masses. They do not understand the problems from their point of view. This is so because they work on the basis of rules and regulations. In fact, rules and regulations are important, but when they are too rigid with it, okay, they consider that this is the final point, that procedures becomes end in itself. Okay, say for example, a weaker person or say 65-year-old lady coming to her office to avail an Aadhaar card, and she requires certain documents. The moment you'll say that whether you have this or not, get lost if you don't have it. Show me the cards, otherwise you will not get the things. Or for that matter, there are various schemes. With the schemes, there is a beneficiaries. Okay, and for each there are certain eligibility criteria. So when the weaker section of the society, which is illiterate population, or for that matter, because of their financial reasons, they are not able to fulfill the criteria or don't have the papers with them. Now we are not talking here about even if there are no papers, you should give them, but you should go an extra mile to see that why the papers are not there. Can I avail some other arrangement? Can I fit that particular person into some other scheme? Can I help him out in getting his paper? Can I call the bank manager? Can I do something? So going out of the way in order to understand their problems and then act upon, rather than arrogantly saying that you do not fall under and therefore you go. For that matter, there is other side of the story. There are people who are from the dominant section who will be having the duplication. Okay, duplication of the same card. Basically, there are ghost beneficiaries also. What is ghost beneficiaries? People do not exist. Like किसी का नाम है, किसी का सरनेम है, दोनों का नाम कंबाइन कर दिया और बोल दिया कि ये गांव में रह रहा है. ओके, उसके नाम के ऊपर अनाज आ रहा है घर पे. फिर अनाज इतना, मतलब एक दो के नाम पे ऐसे 4-5 बना लिए घोस्ट बेनिफिशियरीज की. फिर घर पे अनाज लाया, उस अनाज को ब्लैक मार्केटिंग में आप बेच रहे हो. ओके, 2-2 रुपए का चावल है, 50 रुपए में वो बेचा जा रहा है. ओके, सो दिस इज द thing that is happening at the grassroots, and the whole sum total of it, this is a apathy because they focus too much of rules, regulations and the procedures, and they do not give importance to the values, like there is no empathy and compassion. In fact, because they were working as per the rules and regulations, they have been reduced into the status quoist. Okay, they are called as status quoist. Bureaucracy in India is status quoist in nature. Status quoist means they do not work for the change. Okay, in fact, whatever existing, they just maintain a particular system. Okay, there is no change. So these are the problems, that apathetic attitude is problem. working only on the basis of rules and regulations and not paying an attention to other factors, cultural sensitivity, etc. is problem, status quoism is problem. So we want to change this perspective into a good one, that is apathy should be replaced by empathy and compassion. Okay, we want that more compassionate civil servant, more empathetic, compassion and empathetic. Rules and regulations should not be only the things, that is a democratic consensus should also be the criteria, that the bureaucrat should consider the public opinion. Okay, so some democratic method should be followed to arrive at the conclusion. So we need more democratic discussions, more importance to be given to the public opinions, and the status quo is he should not, the civil servant should not be the status quoist, but he should be the agent. He should act as an agent of change for the society. He should act as a agent of change for the society. So we want to replace this scenario of apathy, procedure and status quoism to empathy, compassion, to more democratic values, and he should act as an agent of change. Now this is primarily very different from what exists in Western societies. In Western societies, role of bureaucracy is very narrow. Okay, say for example, if you are a civil servant in case of Europe, okay, your role is not very big. You are some sort of just a staff agency, okay, staff agency of a government, wherein people are already so much educated that they understand what are their rights, they understand what is benefits, they in fact make the government accountable. So there is no need of creating the awareness, there is no need of understanding the problems, because in particular cases the bureaucracy and the government evolve out of the modern society. But here we are not a modern society, in fact underdeveloped and developing society on which the modern governance has been superimposed by the Britishers. So in our case, state is more modern than the society. In the Western societies, out of modern society, state has emerged. Are you understanding the difference between the two? Okay, in Western societies, out of the society, modern structures emerge. Therefore, people are already aware of it, aware of their rights, aware of benefits, etc. So the role of bureaucracy is only an implementation there. In case of an India, the British model, or for that matter for any third world country, the British model have been superimposed on the underdeveloped or developing countries where the masses are remain illiterate. Therefore, the role of bureaucracy is not just a staff agency for the implementation, but they should inspire the people. They should educate the masses. They should understand the problem of the masses so that to let them understand that they are entitled to various benefits. And when this happens, that's kind of the attitude if you can bring. In the first class I have discussed the part of the problem lies in the colonial hangover, because this system has originated in the past where the bureaucrats were expected to serve the colonial masters than to serve the people. And this perspective or this attitude in the bureaucracy has continued, partly and this has reduced them into the elitist. Okay, so very elitist model that we see is called elitism. Elitism means serving the upper section of the society. In this respect, we want to change the scenario, and therefore we need to study the attitude. Okay, that's the one part. This whole part we are talking about, the one part of the story is bureaucracy and its attitude with respect to society and what change is required. Second part is about people and their attitude. Second part is people and their attitude. People and their attitude. Here again, there are two aspects here. What is the people's attitude towards the government? What is people's attitude towards the government? And second is people's attitude towards different social issues in life. Social issues in life. Now you see that the perspective of the people in India, like most of the times we see that government is not doing anything. There is a sense of pessimism within the people towards the government. Okay, bureaucrats are generally not very revered figure in the society. They say that when there is a bureaucracy, bureaucracy means it does not function. Okay, or it harass. Not only it does not function, but it harass. It harass because whenever we go, then they ask us to go here and there. They keep on like dodging, and they ask us to come back again, and they ask us for the bribe. So there is a sense of pessimism, and there is a lot of trust deficit that exists between the government and the people. So we also need to change the perspective of the people to look at the government. That is one part. And second part is there are various social issues and people's perception with respect to these social issues. This is important. We need to change, because when the government takes certain positive intervention, okay, the scheme cannot be successful until and unless the people change their mindset. Okay, we have discussed, like, say for example, there are so many laws with respect to women atrocities and women education and all that empowerment of women. But until and unless patriarchal mindset of the society, that is the society's mindset is a patriarchal mindset, for example. जब तक ये change नहीं होगा, whatever the action is taken by the government in the interest of women empowerment are not going to be successful as long as the patriarchy continued. Therefore, we need to change in order to have a complementary role of this change in attitude with respect to the government's intervention. Okay. Now think of this attitude with respect to the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. People do not like have a very positive attitude with respect to the sanitation. Okay, sanitation they do not consider it as a very important thing in life. Okay, there are other things in life which are important, and our time is we should not waste our time in something like sanitation. Okay, and therefore the littering here and there is a very common act, because they do not attach so much of importance to sanitation. Prevention के लिए इंडिया में वैसे भी importance नहीं है. They don't understand that sanitation will only cause the problems of public health. Public health will hamper their productivity. Also, public health will invite a lot of expenditure for the medicines and etc. So there will be again unproductive use of resources. So such things are in consequence of sanitation. But your attitude toward the sanitation is very poor. So therefore, we see that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is launched, but nothing changes on the ground because people are not so enthusiastic about sanitation. Second thing, within the sanitation, the public perspective is that sanitation is something which is a very menial job. Okay, like I am from a rich background, I am not supposed to clean the floor. Okay, cleaning the floor is a function of some maid. Okay, somebody should come and they should clean the floor. Why the hell I can pick up and put it into the dustbin? That's not my job. So this is also a perspective that you have attached, okay, cleaning the floors or with respect to all sanitation, that is a menial job and it is supposed to be done by particular group of people. This is also an attitude that has also reduced that people are not so proactive with respect to the sanitation issues. There is also inherent into it, you have stereotyped that this job is a menial, that has created the hierarchy, and the hierarchy give rise to the inequality in the society. Again, there are problems. You relate the caste with respect to the menial job. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Okay, so problems of caste system. However, government talks about equality in Article 14, 15, 16. Nothing is going to change until and unless people start changing their viewpoints with regard to the caste. Caste mindset is very well entrenched into the minds of Indian society. So people talk about caste is irrelevant, but then when it comes to the marriage, nobody is ready to go for the intercaste marriages. Okay, and yes, people will preach a lot. अब जाने ठीक है, मतलब समझ में आ गया. I hope all of you have understood that point. I missed the point. Okay, anyway, so that's the point, that people's perspective with respect to, so you can identify different points, and therefore we want to learn this chapter. What is an attitude, how it is formed in a first place, why people behave in a way they behave, can we change the people, what are the hurdles in changing the people, is there any mechanism that we can invent so that we can create a better future, okay, that is glitter in the eyes, the hope for the future, okay, future for the children. So all these points ultimately is a function of attitude of people, and that's why we are studying. In fact, perhaps this part is the most important part of discussion. The UPSC is not going to ask what are the formation of attitude, what are theories of attitude, scholarly articles of attitude. That's not going to be asked. Maximum they're going to ask is, what is the definition of attitude, how attitude is formed and changed. In fact, that is also not asked in a straight way. They'll ask you and give you a case study. In this way, this is an attitude that is prevalent in the society. You are an IAS officer posted here and there, and devise a mechanism to change the attitude in a particular desired direction. So you should know that why you are doing this particular thing. In fact, in 2015, they have asked the question, what do you understand by bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude? What are the negative implications of bureaucratic attitude? Can we bring democratic attitude also? Can both of them go hand in hand? Yes, they can go and they should go. You understood? Okay. Now with this background and the significance, I hope you have jotted down something like there are two broader aspects of this. Now come to the points, that is a meaning of attitude and concept. Meaning and concept. Yes, what do you understand? What is your idea about what is an attitude basically? What's an attitude? Personal opinion. Okay, good. About anything.
The way we look forward to a task or a person.
Look. Okay. Reaction to some action. Third law of thermodynamics. Okay. What is predisposition?
You have already decided in advance that this is how it is, this is that, this is you, I'm gonna be equal to this person, that is such person.
Okay. Perception, mindset, good. All of you are correct partially. Okay. Way. In fact, most of you are talking about manifestation of attitude. Okay. Ultimately, this is a manifestation that how we carry, what is our outlook, etc., etc. Okay. Yes, there is something related with predisposition. I'll come to this reaction also, reaction part. Now, let me first say this, when there is an individual meeting and another individual for the very first time, okay, you don't know about this individual at all, anything, you don't have any information. Now, on that particular day, if he is speaking something, you are also reacting to it, okay, and that is what action and reaction. Now, at this point of time, you really do not reflect to the attitude as such. Okay, it is more about strange person having an interaction with you. You don't know about that person, and therefore, just in plain conversation. It's not a part of an attitude. Now, over a period of time, let's say you are meeting this person on a daily basis, 7 days, 10 days, months, 6 months. You start understanding that person over a period of time, and you develop a specific understanding of that person. This word is very important, specific. Specific understanding of that person, that this person is good, bad, likes, dislike, okay, favorable, unfavorable, his viewpoint. So, whenever after a good period of time, when you have understood the person, you develop some sense of like or dislike, favorability or unfavorability, approval or disapproval towards it. Now, after this, whenever you are meeting this person, say for example, if you are very friendly, you like that person, so obviously you will feel enthusiastic, you will have a more and more collaboration. Whenever you take his name, you feel good about it, okay, there is a sense of goodwill in you. But on the other hand, okay. मतलब दिमाग ऐसे क्यों भागता है आपका? There is other way also that if a person is not so good, you feel hatred, you feel disgusted, जैसे देख गया मतलब irritated. You just turned eye and ran away from that particular person. That's also happened. Okay, so the point is, after a period of time, you developed some sense. Now, what she has said is about predisposition. Now, there is a now, once you are meeting here person, there is already a predisposition. Predisposition means prior you have already decided. It is not for the first day. It took certain time, and then some specificity is developed in you, and now whenever you are meeting, you will show that kind of reaction. That is the attitude. Okay. Here it is an attitude. Now, number of time you meet, it is not going to change, okay, until and unless some very substantial change is going to come. So it means that every individual over a period of time. Now, this is not with respect to individual per se. It can be with respect to any issue. It can be with respect to any organization. It can be with respect to anything which is socially significant object. Like say, for example, issue, let's take about the patriarchal mindset, okay, as an issue. So, what kind of upbringing that has happened, that determines your patriarchal mindset. Some people might think that gender equality is not an correct idea. If throughout their life they have seen some benefits of division of labor, that women's place should be in home, and therefore male counterpart should go out, etc., etc. Now, yesterday there was a Karva Chauth. So, in the morning, I have read a couple of articles, obviously, with regard to questioning the tradition of Karva Chauth. Is there any really a meaning? And should the women go for the fast, for the life के लिए रहता है, किस लिए रहता है? Eternal life of yes, husband. Okay, so you will get the articles. You will also can find out the first post पे article था, morning में देखा था. Now the point is, here the perspective which is getting reflected of an attitude, the one who must have written the article must have found that there is no sense in Karva Chauth, and therefore there has to be a gender equality. But then there must be a group of people who think that now everything is being questioned. That's not a good idea. Something should persist as a part of a culture. That is an attitude because was an intense conditioning that has happened with you, that we should not have gender equality in each and everything, okay? You can have gender equality somewhere, but not to an extent that you start like equating men and women in every walk of life. This is because your attitude has shaped for a long period of time. This is with regard to issue. Take an example of LGBT. Nowadays we are talking, at least we can able to talk in the hall, that LGBT, there is a problem and etc. Otherwise, if you go into the villages and talk about LGBT, people will slap you. People will also start calling you, is there any problem in your orientation that you are supporting them? So, the point is, because there is a shaping of, पहले से हमें बचपन से बताया गया है कि ये abnormal लोग हैं, ये pathological लोग हैं, इनका mind सही नहीं चलता है, there are nature में ही मतलब defect वाली चीज है ये. This is a mindset. Now once you start having a defect for them, so obviously you will never come up fighting for their rights. So the point here is attitude is generated over a long period of time after conditioning and socialization, and then you start relating either favorability or unfavorability with regard to that person. That is a part of your attitude. So it does not generate in the first go. It takes a lot of time, and once it is formed, then there is a repetition or there is a specificity. Number of times you come across, it's the same thing continued. That's why I said that there are problems in the society, and there are so many hurdles because attitude cannot be changed overnight. In fact, this was the also reason why the ethics paper was introduced, as I have mentioned in the first class, that when the people are being picked up and sent into the Masuri, in Masuri within overnight you cannot inject public service, or you start working for the public service orientation, show empathy, show compassion. Life में कभी compassion ही नहीं दिखाया तो मसूरी में जाके compassionate नहीं हो जाते आप, ठीक है? And this was the problem by far. That's why they want to check through this paper, do you have an inclination, okay, before we call you in the Masuri. In Masuri only fine tuning can happen. Overall personality cannot be changed. Okay, so that's the reasons they want to say that whether these kind of values are there in you or not. Okay, and I don't believe that this paper also is going to be very successfully going to filter out those people, because you can always fake it until you make it. Okay, and for us, faking is important because we want to get the marks and somehow get sneak into the service. Okay, but you should know that what is to be written on the paper at least. Now let's come to the definition with this idea. What is the definition of attitude? First, write the definition. I'll explain that part. Attitude is a learned, enduring predisposition. Learned, enduring predisposition. In bracket, orientation you can write. Learned, enduring predisposition to think, to feel, and to act. To feel and to act in a specific way. In a specific way or particular way. You can write in bracket favorable or unfavorable. Unfavorable. Towards social object. Towards social object. Okay, now you might feel that there is a lot of complexity, but once you read twice and thrice, and we will also discuss the definition, it will not be very difficult to reproduce the definition. Okay, now let's understand learn. It means that it is not when you are doing for the first time. So that's not a part of attitude. Something you have learned in the past. Enduring, it is going to stay with you for a long period of time. Learned, enduring predisposition. You have already learned, and therefore before any action comes, you are going to display it. Have you understood? Learned, enduring predisposition to think, to feel, and to act. There are three components. So even if you are thinking in a particular manner, that's also an attitude. Okay. If I take an example of any person or any person in your life, and you started thinking in a particular manner, that's also in part of attitude. Need not be that it has to be accompanied by any action. You take the name of person, you feel elated, enthusiastic. Okay, that's also in part of attitude. You feel hatred, you feel disgusted, you feel sad, you feel depressed. That's also in part of attitude. To act, send a message, give him a call, okay, or shout on him or her or whatever it is. Okay, that's also a part. In a specific way. Now, this is very important. In a specific way, that is depending upon what kind of the attitude. So whenever there is this, three things will be there. Ultimately, there will be a specificity. To the socially significant object or social object, as I have said, it may be about the person, it may be about organization, it may be about socially significant issue. Okay, think of environment. Okay, like say for example, you have lived most of your life in an area where you have seen nearby there is a national park or biodiversity. Okay, so you have, over a period of time, you have developed a lot of positivity with respect to the environment as a good value. And government has come up with SEZ, okay, and they have said that this leading into the cutting of forests in and around the area of the national park, and some part of is going to get damaged, biodiversity loss is there, blah blah. Now, what is your attitude with respect to this particular action? Because you feel that this is not correct. This is not correct. This is because your attitude. Over a period of time, you have learned behavior. Ki environment is very important, biodiversity is very important, and it should not be hampered. Therefore, what is your reaction is coming is nothing but the product of your attitude. This was the attitude with respect to issue. Okay, your issue was shaped. Or maybe for that matter, if you have spent most of your time in an urban society, okay, away from tribal culture, away from, you don't know anything about them, and you just know the development, materialism, consumerism. So you may think of, what about these trees? Okay, everywhere the plants are getting cut. Okay, and there is always chance we can make an afforestation elsewhere. Therefore, SEZ must go because development is rather more important. Have you understood how these particular aspects are being shaped? So there are 3 points to think, to feel, and to act in a specific way. Now, write the structure of attitude. Next is structure of attitude. Again, one thing one should remember, the attitude, we do not make a value judgment, right and wrong, because it can be a favorable, it can be unfavorable. Attitude in itself is a value neutral, in that right and wrong sense is a neutral term. We have to see whether it is a desirable and undesirable attitude. Right? Structure of attitude. Structure of attitude. Structure of attitude, they say that's CAB. That's an acronym generally used. Is a CAB structure. So, right, C stands for the cognitive part. E stands for affective part. And B stands for behavioral part. Okay? Affective, cognitive, and behavioral. Now, the cognitive part, you have this. Cognitive is related with thinking. Okay, thinking, knowledge, something related with the brain. Affective, what is affective? Yes, feeling, emotions. It is related with the feeling, emotions. Yesterday somebody was talking about heart. Okay, if this is in brain, this is heart. Behavioral part is a action. Behavioral part is action. Now you see, whenever you take a person, issue, you may feel positive about it or negative about it. Thinking in a good way or in a bad way. Feeling, it also can be positive or negative. Positive, like say for example, love, care, compassion, empathy, enthusiasm. So these all are the parts of the feeling. Or you may develop frustrated, anger, jealous, etc. So that's also a part of feeling. So it can be this way or that way, depending upon what we hold for the person or what you hold for a particular issue. And likewise, there will be an action also. So, in fact, these three things going simultaneously, where this is where a thinking part is a feeling part, okay? That is, in a brain, when you are thinking, heart nahi rehta hai वैसे, there is a limbic system. Any medical from the class? कोई है क्या doctor? हाँ? एक भी डॉक्टर नहीं है क्लास में, हाँ? Okay, anyways, so there is something called limbic system that has the function of feeling. And then there is a behavioral part, that's the action part. So when things are happening, what you think, it's get converted into your feeling, and what is your feeling get converted into your action. So the attitude controls your behavioral parts when the three things happening simultaneously. Now let's take one more example, like very specific, so as to understand it. In fact, you revisit the definition. Okay, definition में लिखा हुआ है, that is predisposition to think, to feel, and to behave in a specific way. Like say, for example, you are moving in a dense forest, okay, and the tiger is there in front of you. Now, just now I have mentioned, when you are meeting for the first time, that's not an attitude, okay? No, that's not correct, okay? Because even when we haven't met the tiger in our lifetime, we have been told in our childhood 100 times, there are two types of animals, pet animals, white animals. Tiger is the wildest of all. It is a carnivorous. Okay, so we know the attitude. So it's not necessary. नहीं तो सर ने बताया था कि पहली बार मिले नहीं तो attitude नहीं होता है. वहाँ पे forest में चले गए. Is looking cute. Okay, color wow. Okay, तो ऐसे ऐसे करोगे तो cute ही हो जाएगा आपका फिर तब तक. So that is not going to happen. Attitude may be shaped by your this thing, and also पहले दिन डर गए, दूसरे दिन क्यूट लगा, तीसरे दिन पैम्पर किया, चौथे दिन घर पे लेके आए. This is not again an attitude. There is a specificity. टाइगर को 10 बार मिलोगे तो 10 बार भाग ही जाओगे, because that is what has been shaped in us, that these are the wild animals. Let's take one formal example here. You have joined one organization, okay, and in organization you have an boss there, you are newly appointed there. Boss, what you have seen in the first month is the boss has taken some money out of the common pool and he has spent the money for some private activities. And he has not ensured to put back money into the common pool. You might have thought there must be certain problems in his life, therefore, he must have extracted some money, and therefore, he must have spent some money for his private activities. So therefore, you have ignored it. But in the second month, also same thing has happened. Third month, same thing. Fourth month, same thing. You realize that boss always extracts some money out of the common pool, and he spent for the private purpose and does not pay it back. And he forged the data. Okay, whenever there is accounting, he forged the data and show that the money has been spent for the official purpose. Now, assuming that you are an honest person, what kind of an attitude you generate? Now, first day you will not generate the attitude, but slowly, slowly, when you are an honest, so you think that no, he is a dishonest man, and therefore you develop a negative attitude towards him. Okay, he is a dishonest man. In case of a feeling, whenever you see him, you feel disgusted. Okay, this is not a man of integrity. And the action depends upon your job security also. Say, for example, if you would have been his boss, you would have scolded him, you would have fired him from the job. Or maybe if you have colleague or friend, you would have given him suggestion. In this case, you are a junior, it's quite possible that you also may quit the job because you can't work with him. Or if there is no job security for you, then at least you will ensure that you will not be very friendly with him. Okay, you will just calm se calm rakhna. Okay, you will be only keeping him at arm's length and involved in the official work. This is a reflection of your attitude. Now let's reverse this for a while. You are also a dishonest person. Okay, you are also looking out for कुछ job मिल जाए जहाँ से कुछ 4 पैसे कमा लूँ मैं ज़्यादा. Okay, you have joined an organization. जैसे ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ज्वाइन किया पहले ही मंथ में समझ गया कि बॉस इज वेरी करप्ट. ओके, यू फील इलेटेड. ओके, कॉग्निटिव पार्ट क्या बोल रहा है? वाह, बहुत अच्छा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ज्वाइन किया है. फीलिंग व्हेनेवर ही कम, ओ बॉस, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग. ओके, यू फील इलेटेड. ओके, हाँ बॉस बताओ कितना परसेंटेज काटना है, मुझे कितना मिलेगा, आपको कितना मिलेगा. ओके, एंड सच बिहेवियर ऑब्वियसली इन द डे टाइम ही इज अ बॉस, इवनिंग ही इज अ फ्रेंड. दोनों बैठ के फिर चल रहे हैं. ठीक है, दोनों का लीवर खराब हो रहा है. So that sort of a thing is there. That's also a part of attitude. Your attitude is shaped by your value system. Your value that is dishonest, and he was also dishonest. You have approved of him. So whatever is in your past, over a period of time, you generate an attitude, and that attitude remains the fix. Have you understood? I hope that there should not be any confusion with respect to defining the attitude and understanding the attitude. Now, we are going to see how the attitude is formed. So, write the formation of attitude. How this attitude is formed. Formation of attitude. Now, here there are two terms: formation, process of formation of attitude, process or mechanism. Mechanism of formation of attitude. Now, in the formation of attitude, there are two broad things you should not get confused with. That is, there are factors and sources which are responsible. Factors of attitude formation. Now, factors are going to remain the same. Okay, the socialization agents, like it will emerge from family, school, culture, okay, media, peer group. Okay, so these are the forces which will be always there, which will be shaping your value system, because from this we are going to get the values, and these values when conditioned. So what we are trying to say, when some value is associated with you, what happens, why it becomes our attitude. So we are going to see the process, how a particular value get converted into attitude. There is also a point, apart from this process of socialization, your personal experience also counts. Okay? Personal experience. These are the factors of attitude formation, that is personal experience and plus different agents, that is family, S for school, okay, school or education. Yes, broadly this is society. Society has all these agents. They're all agents of society: family, schools, culture or religion, media, peer group, etc. So these are the factors for formation of attitude. Now, what is a process? This we have already discussed, therefore I am not discussing and repeating it. Okay, now what are the processes? There are certain theories of attitude formation, as we say, theories of attitude formation that we are going to see here. Now, the first theory of attitude formation is called classical conditioning. Classical conditioning. Classical conditioning. Now, this word is very important, conditioning. You have been conditioned with something for a long period of time. And because of the long period of conditioning, you develop a particular attitude. This classical conditioning is also known as Pavlov conditioning. Pavlovian conditioning. Or Pavlov is a name of a psychologist, okay, who has forwarded this theory of classical conditioning. Now let's understand what is this conditioning and what he has to say. He has conducted one experiment, okay, experiment on a dog. Okay, so let's assume this. Assume at least as a dog. There was street dog, huh? Okay, I am not dog and bell. Now, what this guy is doing? This Pavlov is ringing the bell. When the bell is ringing, dog is coming. He will offer him food. Now, seeing the food, obviously there will be a salivation, okay, or mouth watering. So basically, the Pavlov is noting what is happening after ringing the bell. Bell is ringing, food is being offered, salivation. Bell is ringing, food is observed, salivation. So he is noting salivation, salivation, salivation whenever food is there. Now a time will come where he will remove the food. Even when food is removed, bell is ringing and he has observed dog is salivating. This is because the dog has been conditioned with the food and bell for a long period of time that he has started associating bell should always be accompanied by food. Okay, this is called conditioning. Conditioning two different factors for a long period of time to make him believe that both things happen together. Now let me take this, how this happens. So this was his experiment. Conditioning with something for a long period of time shapes the attitude, even when there is absolutely no correlation between the two. That is, bail रहने के बाद food रहना चाहिए. There is no scientific reasons to believe this. In fact, these are the marketing जो रहता है. These methods are used. The other day I was talking about Axe, okay, Axe deodorant, and the idea that has been shown, women are flocking around the guy, okay, and so people feel that, okay, Axe buy karunga, so Axe is equal to this, okay, so let me have the Axe. That's the classical conditioning, okay, that is a Pavlovian conditioning, mostly used for the marketing strategies. There is no merit in it. Now, let's take one formal example here. Say in India, particularly, say just take an example, terrorist attack has happened or bomb blast has happened. So whenever there is a terrorist, there is M word that we think immediately. Because we have been conditioned for a long time that T should be accompanied by M. So we say that T is M and M is T. So every M has to be T, or T has to be, every T has to be M. Now, this is a conditioning. Conditioning, there may be a possibility that frequency of attacks of T must be associated with M, or few number of people from the M may be T, but this does not lead us to conclude that every single M is T. Are you understanding? This is a stereotyping. Stereotyping, that painting the whole community with one brush. This is called Pavlovian response. Because, say for example, Samjhauta Express blast has happened. You say that, okay, blast, do not tell me Samjhauta Bimjhauta. Blast has to be M factor. Okay. Malegaon blast has happened. Malegaon blast, okay, M factor must be responsible. Okay, Ajmer Sharif, Hyderabad. Okay, we have people like General Colonel Purohit, Sadhvi, क्या नाम है उनका? साध्वी प्रज्ञा, साध्वी प्राची नहीं, प्राची को मत बोलो ऐसे, अभी प्राची अभी भाषण ही कर रही है, साध्वी प्रज्ञा, okay, Swami Asidanand, yes, very good. So these are the where we see that right wing element also can be or may be responsible for attack, or there may be certain other community. Also, there must be certain group of people within YAM which may not be related with the tree. But this is a conditioning, and we give the Pavlovian response. This is called Pavlovian conditioning and Pavlovian response. Our attitude is shaped, and therefore this stereotyping happens. Have you understood Pavlovian response or Pavlovian conditioning? Any conditioning with two terms for a long period of time that we start equating 100% that T is M and M is T. That's called as the Pavlovian conditioning. Have you understood this part? Okay. Now, this is the first part. See, nobody is going to really ask you what is the classical conditioning in exam. Because we have to ultimately see the significance when I'll discuss at the end of the chapter that how the questions are asked and how we can use it. We just have to use it thinking that how this conditioning and attitude formation can be changed in future life. That I'll discuss later on. Just first, remember that this is one mechanism of formation of attitude. Now write the second mechanism, that is called operant conditioning. Operant. Operant is like, okay, just write the name operant. Operant conditioning. Operant conditioning in bracket you can write because this is most important word, reward and punishment. Reward and punishment. This theory can be remembered as a reward and punishment. Now what is this theory? Whenever you give reward to someone, something, a person develops a favorable attitude towards it. Whenever you give the reward, you develop a favorable attitude, and whenever you punish person for something, he will develop the unfavorable attitude. Unfavorable. Or he develop the dislike toward it. He'll develop the like and he'll develop the dislike towards something, whatever the case is. Like and dislike, you can write in bracket or it's self-explanatory, favorable and unfavorable attitude. Now, some of the things are very obvious for us to understand whenever we do good things in life, okay, and if you are rewarded, we develop favorable attitude towards it. Say, for example, in your childhood, you have got some rank, okay, first rank, second rank, and your parents have gifted you something. So you develop that getting a rank is a good value in life, and therefore you develop a positive attitude towards it. Whenever you do something negative in life, you are punished and you develop an unfavorable attitude that one should not do such things in life. This is an attitude. Say for example, आपने बिना पूछे किसी का वो लेके आए होगे शार्पनर या कुछ, हाँ होता है ऐसे कभी कभी, मतलब नॉटी पीपल इन द चाइल्डहुड एंड किड्स. सो ऐसे लेके आए सताने के लिए दूसरे फ्रेंड को, फिर मम्मी ने बताया कि नहीं नहीं दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट, गो एंड से सॉरी and return. Okay, the baby cries, but ultimately this is what happens, and the kid develop unfavorable attitude towards such thing, that such things are not correct. But this is half of the story. This is what has been told to us, and this is mostly happen. Now think of situation in a society, somebody has done bad thing, something negative, and he has been rewarded. okay, he will develop a favorable attitude towards the something which is not good for the society. Now, this is how the criminals are produced. Are you understanding? This part is very important to remember. Because ultimately, the social evils, why they get sanctioned in the society, is because some other way. Now, reward does not mean that you are called upon for the presidential medal. Okay, it can be any form. It can be an appreciation. Okay, verbal appreciation. It can be any sort of a thing, encouragement. And therefore, you have developed, even when something the society do not approve of, you are rewarded for it. You have developed a favorable attitude. That's why sometimes it's surprising for us to see in this society how people justify the things what is absolutely unjustifiable. Okay, that should not surprise you because this thing must have happened to them. Okay, are you understanding? So, reward and punishment is the same way somebody has done something good in life, but he is being punished for it, and therefore he developed unfavorable attitude towards good things in life. Think of in India, like honesty is not being rewarded. Okay, these days, say you are an officer which is posted in Uttar Pradesh, okay, यादव के डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, और वहाँ पे मुजफ्फरनगर में आप पोस्टेड हो, ओके, और आपने जाते ही मतलब आपने पेपर 4 बहुत पढ़ा हुआ था, इंटीग्रिटी वैल्यूज ये वो, यू थॉट ऑफ लाइक लिविंग विद द आइडियाज ऑफ पेपर 4, जाते ही पहले दिन सैंड माफिया के अगेंस्ट एक्शन ले ली, इसके अगेंस्ट, तो यादव साहब बुलाएंगे आपको, आ जाओ आप इंटीग्रिटी दिखाते हैं, ओके, देन यू विल बी सस्पेंडेड, ओके, और यू विल बी आस्क्ड इज अ वायलेशन ऑफ कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, और किसी आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया ऐसा कोई डिपार्टमेंट रहेगा, उसमें आपका प्रमोट कर देंगे. प्रमोशन नहीं है वो, आप वहाँ पे चांदी घासते रहो, वहाँ पे चमक रहा है नहीं चमक रहा है, ठीक है. आपको लगेगा कि यार ये कौन सा पेपर 4 था कि हमें बताया ऑनेस्टी इज द बेस्ट पॉलिसी. नाउ द ऑनेस्टी इज इन फैक्ट बीन अ पनिशमेंट एंड यू डेवलप अ अनफेवरेबल एटीट्यूड. सो सस्पेंशन पीरियड 2 साल के बाद आप प्रैक्टिकल हो जाते हो, आपको लगता है कि honesty is no more rewarding, okay, chaplacy is more rewarding, okay, and you will see that some of your colleagues, okay, who has done not so good thing, उनको presidential award मिल रहा है, उनको 26 जनवरी को यहाँ पे बुलाया जा रहा है, award दिया जा रहा है, okay, then you develop this sense, okay, this sense that honesty is not rewarding. That's how the corruption is breeding in India. Most of the times the people are approving of the corruption by some other way, that okay, the system is very complex, पैसे तो देने ही पड़ते हैं, okay, पैसे तो देने ही पड़ते हैं, मतलब somewhere you have approved of it, okay. जुगाड़ जो है इंडिया में ऐसे वर्ड इन्वेंट किया है, थोड़ा सा इफ्यूमिज्म है. जुगाड़ इज नथिंग बट हाईली लेवल ऑफ करप्ट माइंडेड पीपल, इज नथिंग बट अ जुगाड़, okay. So these are the things. The point is why I have shown you, because this is what we have to identify in a society, because question will come, how will you change the mindset. तो आपको ये theory use करनी पड़ेगी, reward and punishment. Whatever a desirable attitude that you want to create, for that reason you have to reward. How to change we'll discuss later on. At this period of time you just have to understand. This part is not required to be understood. Just theory इतनी है. You give reward for anything, whether it is a good or bad, person will develop a positive attitude, and whether it is bad or anything, if you punish person for that, he will develop the negative attitude. So this is called as operant conditioning or the reward and punishment theory. So we have so far taken 2 cases, that is classical conditioning, that is about Pavlovian, keeping 2 things for a long period of time, and one is reward and punishment. So we can stop here. We'll continue the things tomorrow. The same thing will continue, plus persuasion and social influence.